It started on a cool autumn evening in New York City, as the golden glow of streetlights reflected off the wet pavement. I had just wrapped up a long day at the university where I worked as a visiting professor. Exhausted, I decided to grab a quick bite at a nearby cafe. That's when I saw him, Darren. He was seated in a corner, a book in his hand, but his eyes lifted the moment I walked in. They locked with mine, and for a second, the bustling noise of the cafe seemed to fade into silence. And he said with a smile that could disarm anyone, "What brings you here?" Darren was my husband's cousin, 10 years younger than me, and yet there was something about him. His confidence, his charm, that made him seem older. My husband, Paul, had always spoken of Darren fondly, describing him as the family's golden boy. But now, as he stood to greet me, I couldn't ignore the way his presence seemed to fill the room. We ended up sitting together, talking for hours over coffee and pastries. He was witty, insightful, and attentive in a way I hadn't experienced in years. When I finally glanced at the time, I realized how late it had gotten. "I should go," I said, standing up. "I'll walk you," Darren offered. His tone light but his eyes holding something deeper. Outside, the air was crisp, and the city was alive with the hum of nightlife. As we strolled down the quiet street, the conversation shifted. Darren started asking questions about my work, my dreams, and my life with Paul. His questions felt probing, almost as if he already knew the answers but wanted to hear them from me. "Do you ever feel trapped?" he asked suddenly, his voice low. I hesitated. "What do you mean?" He stopped walking and turned to face me. "Like you're living a life you didn't choose. Like you're not happy." I wanted to deny it, to laugh it off, but the words caught in my throat. Instead, I looked away, my silence betraying the truth. "You deserve to be happy," and Darren said, stepping closer. "To feel alive." I felt my heart pound as his words hung in the air, daring me to acknowledge the emotions I'd been burying. I told myself it was just the vulnerability of the moment, the intoxicating effect of the city lights and his intense gaze. But deep down I knew it was more. That night marked the beginning of something I never anticipated. Darren began finding reasons to visit me, helping me with groceries, bringing me books he thought I'd like, even joining me for my evening walks. Each interaction was charged with an unspoken tension, a dangerous pull that grew stronger with every passing day. I tried to convince myself that it was innocent, that Darren was just being kind. But one evening, as we stood on the rooftop of my apartment building, looking out at the city skyline, he turned to me and said, "You feel it too, don't you?" Froze. "Feel what?" "This," he said, gesturing between us. "The connection. The way we understand each other." "Darren, you're my husband's cousin," I said, my voice trembling. "This is wrong." "But it feels right," he countered, stepping closer. "Doesn't it?" I wanted to deny it, to push him away. But the truth was I couldn't. My marriage had become a hollow shell, a routine of shared space but not shared hearts. Darren, with his laughter and intensity, had awakened something in me that I thought was long dead. Before I knew it, his lips were on mine. It was a kiss that ignited every nerve in my body, leaving me breathless and terrified all at once. When we pulled apart, he looked at me with a mix of hope and determination. "And," he said, "you don't have to decide anything now. Just think about what you want." But as the days passed, the weight of what we had done bore down on me. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. The guilt was overwhelming, and yet, whenever I saw Darren, my resolve crumbled. It all came to a head one evening when Paul returned home unexpectedly early from a business trip. I was in the kitchen when Darren knocked on the door, holding a bouquet of flowers. Paul opened it before I could, and the look on his face when he saw Darren was one I'll never forget. "What's this?" Paul asked, his voice sharp. Darren hesitated, glancing at me. "Just thought I'd bring in some flowers," he said, his tone casual but his eyes betraying the truth. Paul turned to me, his face a storm of confusion and suspicion. "And what's going on?" My heart raced as I realized I couldn't keep running from the truth. I had to face it no matter the cost. And so, with trembling hands and a voice thick with emotion, I confessed everything. The fallout was devastating. Paul was heartbroken, Darren was furious, and I was left to pick up the shattered pieces of my life. But in the wreckage I found clarity. I realized that while Darren had awakened something in me, the answer wasn't in him. It was in me. I needed to rebuild my life, to rediscover who I was outside of my roles as a wife or a forbidden lover. The journey wasn't easy, but it was necessary. And as I stood on that same rooftop months later, looking out at the city lights, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time: peace. Moral: temptation can cloud judgment, and fleeting passions can lead to devastating consequences. But in every mistake, there's an opportunity for growth and redemption. The hardest truths are the ones that set us free.